Kistner with ProCntr Inc. here, and I am with Jody. Jody, what do you do?
I work for OrderStorm Inc. OrderStorm has an e-commerce shopping cart plugin for WordPress, and right now we're in beta. We launched in October.
Fantastic. So, for anybody out there, an e-commerce plugin is where you'd have inventory on there. People can put it in their shopping cart and buy something right on your website, right?
That's correct.
Does it have to be physical items or digital items? What can it be?
E-commerce products encompass a whole range of things, from shopping carts with products, services, event registration, meeting room registration, restaurant reservations, and there are other things that fall into the e-commerce bucket also. Things like subscriptions, membership programs, product configurators, all fall into that e-commerce bucket.
Fantastic. Now, from the business development standpoint, I love this because most small businesses are not capitalizing on the fact that they could be making money in their sleep. Whatever you're selling, whatever your services, especially in the small business world where you're primarily a service-based business, you can still have things because you're an expert in the business. You can have white papers. You can have subscriptions to help desk. There's all these things that you can sell online to even out your income stream or add to your income stream, and a plugin like this or just having some sort of e-commerce is truly a great way to do it. The fact that you're saying that events, I never even thought about that.
Right, that is e-commerce. You still do take the credit card payment through the website, and you would still send out a receipt or tickets depending on what type of an event it is. Absolutely, e-commerce.
Now, I've been building WordPress for a while, WordPress sites, and there are a lot of free plugins that can handle events, can handle basic e-commerce. Why should I pay for yours?
OrderStorm is a SaaS product, software as a service. Our shopping cart runs in the cloud. So,
in the cloud.
Right, in the cloud.
For the newbies especially, in the cloud is misused all the time. What is in the cloud?
In the cloud means we are an external database. All the existing WordPress plugins run on the 10-table database that comes with the WordPress installation. Our shopping cart software, and all of the rest of our e-commerce as well, runs on an external database. We have hundreds of tables in our transactional database, which means we can scale and we can keep encryption very tight to have a PCI compliant shopping cart. PCI compliance means that you're following the guidelines of Visa and MasterCard to maintain credit card and customer information securely.
Now, I can't stress enough how important that is because I see too many clients that try and build sites on a $5 a month one-on-one GoDaddy shared hosting solution,
Shared
and
hosting bad.
you are at risk. What are you at risk for on an environment like that where you're taking credit cards, where you're hosting it yourself?
The big risk is having your site hacked and losing customer and credit card data. The fines from Visa and MasterCard are astronomical for losing even a small amount of credit card data.
Okay.
Maybe $50,000 would be a minimum fine.
Wow.
Yes, yes, absolutely. That's your risk. And that would put a small business out of business.
Absolutely. So what, for the small business who's thinking about going into this, who hasn't really dipped their toes into e-commerce, once they start taking credit cards, how much does that affect their risk level for being hacked, for being targeted? In other words, right now they have 100 visitors a week. They're not taking credit cards, so that data isn't going there basically screaming for hackers. But once they start taking credit cards, how does their risk level go up?
Well, with a basic WordPress website, you can host it anywhere, and there are things that you can do to prevent your website from being hacked, as far as people posting to your blog or taking over your site and putting up their own page. When you move into e-commerce, you have to go into a PCI compliance scenario. So, for example, if you use Wells Fargo as your merchant provider, they'll set you up with a company called TrustWave. TrustWave will come and scan your website to see if you're following those security guidelines that they recommend.
Wow.
If you're not, Wells Fargo will fine you.
Wow. Okay. So the fact that your solution is based on servers that you fully control,
That's right.
make sure that they stay compliant, that's where it's different than other plugins that are on my server or on their server.
That's correct. Absolutely. And there are some premium hosts where you can have WordPress in a more secure environment, but not GoDaddy. Well, right in the terms and conditions for the GoDaddy hosting agreement, it states that you can't put a PCI compliant website on there. This type of hosting is not going to permit that.
Sure.
If that's what you need, this isn't for you.
Wow,
So
okay.
they're very upfront about it, absolutely.
Hey, better. If people read that stuff, though.
Well, hopefully they're reading their agreement, but terms and conditions.
Hopefully. So what now? On to the kind of the second part of my interview series.
Okay.
You're a small business.
Correct.
When were you? What year did you establish this?
OrderStorm was started in 2009.
Okay. So in that time frame, what have you learned in managing and growing your small business that our audience could learn from it? A tip for our audience.
Mm-hmm. Well, while OrderStorm started in 2009, it's not my first small business.
Okay.
I started a small business in 2002, which was also an e-commerce business. And we sold parts on web stores. I had 7 of my own stores on the internet. And through that business, through building up that business and selling it, I learned all kinds of things that I'm using now in OrderStorm to make this experience go better that I could share. And one of the big things that I learned is not to get distracted when you're first starting up by additional products that look like you could make money that would dilute your initial focus. So for example, I'm selling motorcycle parts and accessories. My customer service people on the phone know motorcycle parts and accessories. There's a particular marketing plan associated with motorcycle parts and accessories to drive traffic to my website, etc. Now I go to the stock show with my kids. I'm talking to a supplier. They sell grain bins and grain troughs and water troughs and cattle guards and big hay feeders. Well, I'm talking to this supplier. They said they'd love to drop ship. I'm thinking to myself, I should put up a website because my software allows drop shipping, but all of a sudden I'm diluted. My customer service people don't know anything about livestock supplies. The sales cycle is completely different. The marketing program is completely different. And by the time I get both of these running, my focus on either one is too diluted because I'm too small of a business. So I'm stretched too thin.
So instead of being A level at one thing and just trying to go down that path, you become B or even C level at 2 things.
Or your focus is on one, and the second one is a red-headed stepchild in the corner and gets no attention.
Yeah, actually,
and
we
still has costs. There's still costs running the business, even though you're paying no attention to it.
Absolutely. And we had just a part of our marketing workshop or business development workshop yesterday. We were talking with somebody about that same exact thing. They, in the first 2-3 years, they do IT. Want to handle IT for everything. I mean, we're talking about what are your worst clients and what are your worst services. And he said, well, I've actually been paid to hang TVs. They figure if I can fix your computer, I can hang. And I don't know, why are we doing this? The risks go up, the quality goes down. So absolutely, I think that's great advice to stick with your core. And really, if you're not making enough money doing that, work on your sales cycle, work on your marketing to bring more into the core business instead of expanding that to be not as good in something else.
Or you could consider financing.
Sure.
You could consider a home equity loan or friends and family for a boost while you're growing.
Lack of funding, the #1 killer of small businesses.
Correct.
Absolutely. Well, Jody, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you
Thank you so much for coming on the show, and we look forward to hearing more about OrderStorm. We're going to have some information on how you can check out OrderStorm on the show here. And again, thanks for coming in, and good luck.
Well, thank you.